Feature-length films need a whole lot to get off the ground. A workable script, considerable financial backing, a dedicated team, a target audience big enough to take a risk for, and of course, plenty of time. For all these reasons and more, a lot of fanciful and freaky ideas get neutered before they can even get off the ground. But short films? Man, you can do anything. If there's a will, there's a way. Hell, plenty of weird short films end up proving that there's interest in certain ideas and give weird feature films a boost. Horror tends to skew a little odd, but horror shorts can be absolutely baffling in their strangeness. That off-color charm is a big draw for those who know, though. Hello horror heads, and welcome back to the scariest channel on YouTube, Top 5 Scary Videos. I'm your horror host, Keegan Hughes, and today we're going to be taking a look at the top 5 weirdest horror short films. Before we get started, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe for more twee terror. Outstanding, let's begin. Coming in at number 5, we've got Eel Girl. Okay, remember how weirded out people got when The Shape of Water came out? Folks absolutely could not wrap their heads around the idea of a woman sleeping with a fish man. For whatever reason, that was where they drew the line. It still won the Oscar, but damn. Well, the folks behind Eel Girl probably didn't think that they took the idea far enough. Created 10 years ago, this short fishy flick was way ahead of its time. We open in a secret military lab reminiscent of that featured in Del Toro's Romance. A couple of scientists are hard at work in a locked up laboratory when a uniformed officer storms in and demands that one vacate the premises. This leaves the second scientist alone with the test subject. So far, so good, not too weird, eh? Maybe the so-called Eel Girl breaks free and eviscerates him? Or could a rogue researcher kick down the door and steal top secret information? Neither. This film is about being horny. Apparently this scientist has had his eye on the test subject for a while. He overrides the door lock that keeps Eel Girl hidden and invites her into a grimy room with a tub. The Shape of Water similarities are actually quite crazy when you look at the set design. She walks out into the room and gestures provocatively, really revving his engine. He's licking his lips, she's taking a dip in the sludge bath, it's all quite erotic. Soon the computer is experiencing a hormone override, which I have to assume means she's in the mood for love. They touch hands through the bulletproof glass, and the scientist decides it's time. He unlocks the door and embraces Eel Girl and is then swallowed whole. If the whole thing didn't feel fetishy enough, we then get an epilogue shot of the fish woman relaxing in the tub, caressing her swollen belly as the scientist screams and squirms inside. Ah yes, Vor, what we all wanted to see today. It's a well-produced little horror flick with some wicked monster effects, but geez, did it have to take such a horny route. Coming in at number 4, we've got the horribly slow murder with the extremely inefficient weapon.
Lunatic has been attacking me all night. He has just broken into my house, and I need a squad car here right now. Okay, this is gonna sound ridiculous, but he's got a spoon.
This is a perfect example of taking a bit way too far, but still managing to keep it really funny. The whole concept reminds me of a one-off joke that somebody riffed while making fun of horror movies, but Richard Gale decided to flesh it out and make an incredibly competent, if not ludicrously silly, horror short. It plays like a trailer, but packs enough plot points and twists of fate for 10 movies. Somehow, a forensic pathologist has attracted the ire of a terrible curse. The curse follows him wherever he goes, hitting him lightly with a spoon. It's just a spoon, but it hurts like hell. And nobody believes him. His wife, the police, everyone around him, they all think he's crazy. But this demon is real, and it's spoons slapping him, and it will not stop. As a major motion picture event, this curse brings poor Jack all over the world, through every possible climate to all sorts of monuments, but he can never escape. While super goofy, I wouldn't be surprised if a major studio put out something like this in the next few years. Death by a million tiny blows could be scary if done right, but I'm glad this short decided to take it in the opposite direction. Sometimes you just need a laugh. But even when you're laughing, you know that there could be a horrible curse waiting to inflict blow after blow on the softer parts of your body. Could you endure 20,000 spoonfuls of terror? Probably not. Coming in at number 3, we've got There Are Monsters.
I swear to God.
Of course, right? I mean, if she was killing and eating those customers.
Of course.
Makes complete sense. They don't give them lunch breaks.
You know, the thing that really got me was your smile.
That's what I've been trying to tell you guys for months. You better believe it too. I remember watching this short when YouTube was still relatively young and being super impressed, and it might have given young me nightmares. In There Are Monsters, the atmosphere is piled on real thick. In the opening scene, a radio plays in the background, telling stories that can't quite be made out, and a man named Garth browses a news site that seems to have some very interesting stories concerning black holes. These might seem incidental at first, but then it starts happening. A little girl appears at the back door. A cashier smiles a little too wide. A man grins from across the road. Stories are told of strange things occurring all across town, but nobody can put their finger on why it's bothering them so much. But as it bothers the characters, it also unsettles the audience. The weirdest stuff happens when the scares arrive. This short was made in 2008 on a low budget, and it kinda shows. However, the cheap effects actually add a whole lot to the strangeness, which in turn makes it a more effective horror. Faces distort into freaky caricatures and odd noises cut in and out. Some people take issue with this, but it does work wonders. You might find yourself avoiding vanilla ice cream for a while after watching this. Coming in at number 2, we've got Think About This. In all fairness, this is actually a work safety video. However, I can't just go ahead and ignore the insane practical effects body mutilations they put to film, all accompanied by a soundtrack guaranteed to stick with you. Put together by ERI Safety Videos, this 5-minute informative package encourages workers to really consider the consequences of floating workplace rules and regulations. Instead of describing what might happen if you don't wear a proper PPE, or maybe demonstrating the correct way to stay safe on the job, Think About This puts mutilation and death at the forefront. It's equal parts stomach churning and hilarious. Odd mix. The whole video is just a procession of gruesome injuries and grotesque disfigurements playing back to back with little context. And the pitchy crooner sings her song all the while, telling you to think about this and doing your job correctly every time. Thanks, lady. I wouldn't have thought about it that way. It feels like a slasher flick boiled down to its bare essentials, but even without a specific killer. We get to see all sorts of blood and gore, like a man having his fingers ripped off by rotating gears, a person's skull invaded by a falling wrench, a lad getting absolutely fried alive by electric current, and more. Just remember everyone, you were alive this morning. Let's keep it that way. Real good advice from ERI Safety Videos. I just don't know if we needed 50 bloody deaths to drive that point home. And finally at number 1, we've got teeth.
I found biting with conviction on firm objects to be of benefit and suitable punishment for the teeth. I would take to chewing anything I could get my young mandible around.
I hate anything to do with teeth. I really do. I think it dates back to watching Kill Bill a little too young and watching O-Ren Ishii stab a man until his pearly whites exploded. But this short animated film takes it to a new level. All done from a twisted, ever-changing first-person perspective, we watch as a child develops teeth and does everything he can to ruin them. He bites down on table legs, he gets them stuck in candy apples, he runs serrated knives over his incisors. Every single thing a normal human would avoid with all of their spirit, he joyfully indulges in. So it's no surprise when he loses all of his teeth and decides to design custom dentures featuring animal chompers. The delivery of tooth-based information is measured, making audience members bask in the terror of a person willfully damaging their teeth, but also avoiding any sort of actual gore. Well, until the end, I guess. The effect is mesmerizing and chilling. To see dentistry given such detail with tooth removal and dissection taking the spotlight is fascinating. But it also causes one's stomach to turn very quickly. I suppose there's an intimate relationship between one's teeth and gut, huh? My oh my. Hopefully you're willing to work through some of this weirdness. I wish you the best of luck sitting through all these and not needing to take a shower afterwards. What did you think of the list? Have you seen any of these? What's your favorite weird horror short? Make sure you let me know down in the comments. Speaking of comments, let's take a look at some of your more glassy ones from the top 5 scary movie monsters that will keep you up tonight. Matt Tateus says, the Eraserhead baby looks like the skinned head of lamb. Honestly, the chicken scene was what got to me. They're man-made. Here, you do the carving. I promise they won't crap blood all over everything. Kyle Blanche says, I'm actually watching this so I can fall asleep. But I recommend doing some light reading before bed. It works wonders. Jimmy Mason says, I'm not worried about tomorrow, I'm worried about today, because today is the tomorrow I was worried about yesterday. But what about next week? Matthew Leader says, YouTuber Ryan Hollinger covered possum. And Ryan Hollinger is awesome. Someday I hope to have half the insight that he does into horror films. And Raymond Williams says, the baby? Surely, sir, you mean Eraserhead. Good work, Raymond, you cracked the code. The black and white slimy baby was indeed from Lynch's Eraserhead. Give yourself a pat on the back and put a sticker on the chart while you're at it. And that's all the time we have for today. Before I attempt to take a magic carpet ride off the roof of the apartment complex down the street, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe for more Lilliputian lore. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Is it Lilliputian? 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 Sure. Kyle Terblanche says, I'm actually and today we're going to be taking a look at the top 5 weirdest... Okay, remember how some people got weirded out? Nope. Okay, remember... Okay. He overrides the door lock that keeps Eel... Could you endure every single thing a normal person would avoid with the... Every single thing a human person